Good day, everyone.
Yeah, good day.
Atomic Habits of James Clear. This is a very, very interesting book regarding building habits. And as a youth or as an individual and as a productive dude, having some proper habits is very, very key to your productivity. I'm sure that is why we chose to discuss this book. And then from the title of the book, Atomic Habits. So now, when we say something atomic, that is something very small. An atom is something that is very small that we cannot see it. And then a habit is something that we do every time, every day. Maybe subconsciously, we do these things. So now, when we try to juxtapose these two things, atomic habits, a habit is something that we do every time. And then when we bring the word atomic into it, so now we have to think about this. This entails having little things that is going to build a very, very massive outcome. For example, now, if you pick an atom now, if you look at the atom, you might not even be able to see it. But if you join together all these atoms, that is what make up the stone, and that is what makes that stone heavy. So now it is as if now picking atoms of habits in order to build a very, very massive habit. So now this is the chapter one of the book, the surprising power of atomic habits. So now, if you are looking for a habit, maybe you are trying to build a habit and then you don't know how to start with it, you just have to believe that you have to start everything from the scratch, meaning you have to build them like from atoms. So that this is something that I understand from the first chapter. I think someone can continue from here, maybe for the first chapter.
Okay, I really value the explanation you gave now, which is that it's all about compilation of various things that make that kind of makes your personality. As for me, when I read the book, I gained a lot of stuff from it, and I think I'm reading it for the second or third time. So I agree with many of the concepts that the author said in the book, which is that one of the things he said is like what separates losers from winners is not their goals, but is the habits that take them to their goal. And there's a popular saying that says your attitude determines your altitude. So these are things that actually are kind of like principles that we should be guided by. However, there's one key thing I kind of don't really agree with the author, where he said forget about goals, focus on systems. As I said, I believe in focusing on the process that leads to your success, and I believe this is what separates losers from winners. However, forgetting about goals totally, it's not a thing for me. I don't think it's a way to move forward because when you think about it, say for example, let's see what's the definition of goal. I searched the net and I say, okay, what's the definition of goal? I mean, so goal means like the object of a person's ambition or effort, an aim or desired result. So this is what is defined as a goal. So he said somebody's ambition. If you read the first three chapters, you understand that the author said, it should be identity centric and not be goal centric. Like start from your identity. Say for example, now you should aim that you want to become a programmer rather than aiming that you have a goal. Like let's say in that field, like you should just aim that you want to become a programmer and then start doing things that makes you a programmer. Like all your habits every single day should be geared towards you being a programmer. Why I think this thing is actually correct. I also believe that there is a fault in saying forget about goals because personally I believe that goals are motivating factors that guides you towards something that's tangible. See, for example, now you have two teams. They want to climb a building. Let's say their identity can be, okay, we want to become a team that is staying on a very high building. Let's just say that is their identity. However, now they start climbing the ladder. The ladder leads to the top of the building. The ladder is like the process and the habit that takes them to their let's say the identity they want. But when they start climbing, they climb until they get to the top of the building. Then they realize, oh, they were actually climbing the wrong building. The point is, like, okay, that's the first scenario. The second scenario is you have, let's say, another team. They first figure out, okay, what is the correct building to actually place our ladder on before they start climbing, and then they can climb as efficient as they want. At that point, they can forget about the top of the building and just focus on the climbing process itself. Like, since they already decide what the right building is, they can just forget about it for the moment and then get obsessed with climbing the ladder efficiently. This is what I see as getting obsessed with the habit, and getting obsessed with the systems that leads you to your goals. I don't believe in forgetting about, okay, what is the right building to climb on before I start climbing it. I believe goals are essential in giving you direction, and that's why in our community, productive community, there's something we call focus and goals. We have a goal, and then we have, you know we focus on the systems, we focus on the processes that leads us to that goal. So I believe two of them are very, very key. However, you should get obsessed with the process rather than getting obsessed with the goal, because there are a lot of people that get obsessed with the goal. Some people have some like two people can be obsessed of buying a particular car, while one person is now more obsessed with the processes that leads him to getting a car. He makes money, he does everything and gets a car. The other person can just be on his bed complaining about the government all day and just dreaming about the car he wants to buy and never get it in the long run. So I believe it's very, very, very core to have a goal. Like, I believe it is very, very fundamental. Let's say, for example, your identity is that, okay, you want to become a programmer, and then you just think of, okay, since I want to become a programmer, I'll just like improve my coding skills generally. I believe that's not very, very, I mean, like, um it's not something I would like to live for, than saying, okay, yeah, I know I want to become a programmer, but why do I want to become a programmer? Because I have this goal in mind. Like, I want to solve a particular problem. I have a particular vision I see. Like, I have a dream of making an impact in this sector, in this segment, and that is why I want to become a programmer. And I'm passionate. I see that I'm passionate about programming itself. Then you can say, for me to become a programmer that can solve that problem, what are the things I need to do to get to that place? Then I'll start highlighting it. So I can say, from the definition of goal, being a programmer is my ambition. Like, and then I start taking effort to get to the desired result, which is being a programmer. I like the fact that we are actually kind of finding our thoughts amidst the thoughts of the author, because sometimes people read book and I just agree with every single thing the author says, and that's all. But like, you trying to critique it, you trying to analyze what you learn, I think it's a very, very amazing thing to do. And then the more you just gather ideas from various books, the more you just become like an ideologue yourself. So it is not setting goals that differentiate losers from winners. It is the processes that lead to the goals. So the habits that actually differentiate them, which is a valid concept.
Totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. You see, a habit is double-edged sword. You see, you can have a habit, and it might be for you or it might be against you. Let's say, for example, you are a student, and then you have a habit in bed. I'm going to read at least a page
Hello, can you hear me?
of my study material. This might take an hour. Eh? And then I might be another student that maybe my wake up time is meant to be 6 a.m. And then I'm going to say that maybe after that 6 a.m., I'm going to take an hour more to sleep. And then the other students is going to take an hour more from that 6 a.m., which is the wake up time, is going to use that 1 hour to just read a chapter. And then imagine reading a chapter every single day for a week. That is seven chapters already. But then you using 1 hour every day. That is
Hello, I can hear you very clear.
is building the other students. And then now using that 1 hour, using it to sleep immediately after 6 a.m., an hour to sleep has made you lose 7 hours of your time for a week. So now you see, habit is something that can be for you or it can come back against you. So yes, I agree with him. Habit is a double-edged sword.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the highlights some of the members of the book lovers clan in the productive dudes group shared with us is when you can't manage to get an entirely new environment, because one of the concepts discussed in the book is finding an environment for each specific let's say habits you form. Let's say for example, you read book, you should have a particular section like specifically for reading book. Let's say you want to gym, you should have a particular place where you want to gym, because this is one of the ways of forming habit. You should have you should make the habit attractive, make the place easily accessible to you, and all of those things, make it organized so you become everything just become easy to navigate in the particular environment. But then he said when you can't manage to get an entirely new environment, which is valid, redefine or arrange your current one. Create a separate space for work, study, exercise, entertainment, and cooking. The mantra I find this phrase one space, one use. This is one of this an highlight by Farouk in the book lovers clan. So at times you can't get a separate space for every single thing you want to do. So the best thing to now do is you know make that space, redefine it to suit the particular habit you want to form at that particular point in time. Let's say, for example, you have a room. Let's say you have like just your house. You can have a specific room or a part of a particular room for reading, and another part for gymming, another part for let's say doing some like less taxing activities, which is something that I have experimented and I've done for let's say 2 years now, which is really valid. That's one of the things I get obsessed with is having a like an organized room. I don't like my room to be scattered. I try to, as much as possible to get my room arranged, and so it gives me this sense of yes, I'm a serious person, and it makes me act in that manner. So I just don't like it when my home is scattered. I try as much as possible, because this is an identity this is what I consider myself as, and it's going to build in the self confidence in me. It makes me feel like a serious person, and I want to do more of that thing that makes me serious. So yeah, I just talked about one of the highlights somebody
You know,
dropped in the book, which
being
is
organized.
fun.
Being organized something that will help you achieve your goals. You see,
Yeah.
he made an example that there was this man that uses different devices for a particular task.
Mm.
Maybe he's going to use his phone for let's say social media. He's going to use his tablet for reading. Because, for example, now when you are using your phone for social media and for reading, maybe you are reading a book and then a notification is just going to pop up. You see, there's going to be a divergence of attention. But then, if you are using the tablets only for reading, you see, when you are even reading, it's going to protect your attention. So,
Exactly.
finding a particular space for a walk. Maybe you are going to have a chair for reading, maybe a space for reading, a chair for maybe doing your work, maybe coding work. Immediately you are in that chair, you are going to know that yes, the sensation is going to come that this is already focused. And then if you are maybe a couch, you don't expect a level of concentration on the couch, maybe on that desk that you are studying. So I'm having a particular space for a particular task is something that is going to give you a particular sensation for that task. So this
Are you saying something?
okay, please, sir. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
My truck is frustrating here. Okay, yes, sir. I think if the best way to measure productivity is for you to fall back to your systems, not your. Maybe you've set a goal. but you didn't achieve that. See, you shouldn't go back to that goal. You go back to the system. In college now, we have different students. We have a 5.0 student, we have a 4.5 student, we have a 2.0 student. But all of them, immediately they come into the school, they might have the aim of becoming a 5.0 student. All of them, their own goal
Exactly.
is to become a 5.0 student, but not
Exactly.
all of them are 5.0 students. So now, what is the difference between them? The difference is goal. The difference is their system. Maybe when we try to analyze the three of them, the person that is in 5.0, now he entered the school with the aim of becoming a 5.0. Yes, he worked for it. He used to study very hard. He used to study past questions. Then the other person who is a 4.5 student, but his own goal is to become a 5.0 student. Maybe that person, his own system is just for him to read the material without practicing past questions. And then now let's go back to the 2.0 student. He also came to the school with the aim of 5.0, but he's someone that his own system is he just used to go and play football. He only used to party, just flexing. But he doesn't used to his system. He doesn't used to read at all. And then how can that person imagine achieving his own goals? So now the difference between three of them, the difference of individuals is not their goal setting. Their difference is their system. So now it is this system that helps shape your identity. It is this system that helps you to achieve your goals.
Yeah, exactly. And you see, like coming to this example of the schooling stuff that you gave, what I feel that a lot of there are some irregularities that actually cause some students to actually fall short. I think there's a lot of let's say portion of the circle that is under the influence of the student. A lot of percentage of the, let me say, the whole getting to the 5.0 something is within the control of the student. Some students compare themselves to some other students. Some it just require them to read the material once and they can read it very, very fast. That's why you see some people that are reading a day to exam and stuff like that. On a personal level, for me, I actually have improved, let's say, in my reading and let's say assimilation ability. But there's a time that I was very, very poor in this reading stuff. The thing I then do is I read, let's say, immediately after the teacher teaches us that stuff. Before I sleep, for example. There's something we used to do in my secondary school, which is called prep. I like to take it serious, because my JS1, I was kind of like I didn't perform to my expectations. So I don't think, okay, the thing I can be doing is to just take that prep time seriously. So I prepare for exam, let's say a month before the exam, or let's say a month and some weeks before the exam. So this is how I think I really became better at reading, because the more you work on a particular habit, the better you get at it. So you compare yourself to another student, you don't know how far he developed himself before he get to that position of, okay, reading a night before exam. So you want to compare yourself to him and also try to read that time. Then once two of you read at the same time, you think it's better than you. One of the things you should learn from people that are successful is that they are not necessarily better than you. They only worked harder than you. They have also developed themselves to that level where you are kind of envying, that you want to get to. So the point is, you should try to craft your own system and work as off to get to that point. Not trying to just compare yourself to everybody and do what everybody else is doing. So I think that's one of the things that really affects students in school systems. Yeah. So, does anyone else have something to contribute before we move further?
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening. Welcome.
Is anyone hearing me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello, is anyone hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so concerning building a system, I think I learned from the book that if for you to build a system, you have to break down the activities that go into the goal you want to achieve. Whatever it is you are doing, you break it down into small steps, and then you improve. I think, yeah, one according to the book, it said 1% on a daily basis. Then at the end of the year, you'll have improved at 7 times better than you are the previous year. So I think what a majority of what you are going to like building our system on, it comes back to the goal we set. So we have to like break down everything that goes into the goal, the activities you have to take in order to achieve the end goal. So like the illustration you give concerning the students, each student they are meant to read and do some other stuff. Like let's say okay, your plan is to go to the library. You said this time, okay, from this time to this time, I'll go to the library. Then you are trying to like break down the activities. Apart from going to the library, you can say you'll be having. Are you still hearing me?
Yeah, yeah, you can.
Okay, so apart from going to the library, you can set up a study group with your friends. It can be part of the activities you plan on putting into getting the results you want. Then you can now break it down to make it feel more comfortable or easily achieved by you. So that's what I understand from the book. So
Yeah.
that's all.
Thank you very much for that point. Yeah. So I just want to quickly read out the chapter summary for the second chapter. He said there are three levels of change: outcome change, process change, and identity change. The most effective way to change your habits is to focus not on what you want to achieve, but on who you wish to become. And this is a point we had an issue with, which we addressed in the early part of the conversation. So he said, your identity emerges out of your habits. Every action is a vote for the type of person you wish to become, which is 100% true. Becoming the best version of yourself requires you to continuously edit your beliefs and to upgrade and expand your identity. The real reason habits matter is not because they can get you better results, although they can do that, but because they can change your beliefs about yourself. So I don't know. For those that are not in, they didn't join us from the beginning. What do you see about forgetting about goals and focusing on systems? That is like one of the concept the author proposes that forget about goals, focus on systems that lead you to your goal. Khalid, please, do you have anything to tell us about that?
Good afternoon, brothers.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Now, we are talking about forgetting about your goals and focusing on the systems that will make you to achieve that goal.
That's
Abi?
what the author said, yeah. According to the author, that's
Now,
what he
so
believes.
now, so so like if you forget about your goals, then the systems that you're going to achieve before you get that particular goal is, should I say, is not does not like follow suit again now, because we have to have a goal, and from that goal you'll be able to now strategize the systems in which you're going to achieve that particular goal. So I feel like
Exactly.
a little bit so I don't know, is it that the is it supposed to be like that, or because I feel like every goal has its systems, and you
Yeah,
cannot have a system without having a particular goal you're looking for. I don't know.
yeah. So yeah, that's actually what we were even talking about. That's what we're actually talking about when we started the conversation. Because according to the author, you should
Okay.
have an identity, then start, you know, following the process that takes you to the identity. But I really think that having goals is very important.
Actually, yes.
Mm.
Yes.
And I don't know if
So
has
that's
anyone.
just basically
Yeah, you go
now.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, no, like it's just basically because strategizing something, you have to have an order in which you follow to
Yeah.
achieve a particular. You cannot just go to a goal directly. Say you want to achieve this thing, you don't set something now. You try to achieve it directly. You have to have a system of, should I say,
Exactly.
methods and strategies before you achieve that particular goal. For example, now
Ah.
you want to have 5.0, assuming instead of you can't just tell me that you go to exam hall and you write 5.0 and you go out just like that.
No.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
So you have to strategize. Like you have to know that yes, I have to dedicate my time into reading. I have to
Yeah.
now avoid the things I used to do, most of the extracurricular activities I involve myself into. I have to leave most of them for now. I have to focus more on my reading than my extracurricular activities, those kind of things. It now give you that 5.0, even though you don't have it, you have something very close to it. So that's
Yeah.
what I feel like to contribute, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, based on what you said, this idea of focusing on systems all boils down to habits, because what the author mean by systems here is the habit, and this is one of the core aspects of the book. And I think you can then move into the top chapter where the author talked about how to build better habits in 4 steps, 4 simple steps, and they gave us 4 laws to build better habits. And I think it's very important. This particular chapter is a very important chapter. If you are feeling skeptical about reading the Atomic Habit book, I'll just advise you to go to the fourth chapter, the third chapter, and go and read it.
Yeah,
So he talked about,
actually,
yeah, I can hear you. Are you saying something?
okay, sorry. I'm not, no, 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 just continue. That's important.
Yeah. So he said he talked about the science of how habit works. And he said the process of building a habit can be divided. I'm quoting the author. He said the process of building a habit can be divided into 4 simple steps. The first one is the cue, second one is the craving, response, and reward. Breaking it down into these fundamental parts can help you also understand what is a habit, how it works, and how to improve on it. And I think this is a core part of the book, because the whole idea of reading this book is to understand, because a lot of people lag in building habits. They've tried, they keep falling short. But I believe one of the best books that you can read to form habit and stick to it, to cling on to the habit that takes you to your desired results, to your desired goal, and to your desired identity. One of the books that you should read is this Atomic Habit. So he talked about the cue is the first stage, and in the first stage, the cue is what triggers your brain to initiate a behavior, because um, we have actually gotten results, positive results from various things that we did that then gave us that result. So anytime you see that thing, it's a cue, like to do something that gets you a certain result. And then the second thing is the craving. When you see the cue, no, craving is the second step. When you see the cue, without some level of motivation, you won't actually act. And this is one of the things that I highlighted when I was reading this book. The author talked about he said, without some level of motivation or desire, without craving a change, without craving a change, you have no reason to act. What you crave is not the habit itself, but the change in state it delivers. Like what we actually crave when we're talking about habits, what we actually will for, what we actually love, is not the habit itself. It is the result, the change in our condition that the habit brings about. So if you are thinking of reading, if you are thinking of reading every single night, what you actually want to gain is not reading, it's actually getting something from reading. Let's say you want to understand a particular subject, you want to solve a particular problem, and it requires you to learn about certain concepts. So when you're now able to solve that problem, the joy you get is what triggers you to read the next time. So without any desired, like any feeling of something you are going to achieve in the end of the process, you won't want to act. So if you know, okay, for example, anybody that does something like this in the past, we've seen the person to become like somebody that's rich or something like that. Say for example, you are learning how to program, you are learning how to code. Coding out of itself is a difficult task. But then if you don't have something you are looking at in the end, you won't have any motivation to code. So I don't know if you guys agree with me on this point. Does anyone understand like what I'm talking about?
Sure, I do.
Yeah, thanks. So then the third step he talked about in building a habit, the science of how habit work is the response. Let's give the example of a rat, for example. As the man talked about in Atomic Habit book, this particular scientist that he put certain rats inside a particular cage. I can't really remember the story vividly. However, the whole summary of the story is the cats were put inside the cage, then he locked them there. But then they start looking for how to escape.
Turn guy.
Yeah. So they start looking for a way to escape until mistakenly they press a particular lever and it opened a particular door for them to escape through. So, the next time you put them there, the thing is, although they are cats, they are not human beings. However, if it was a human being that mistakenly pressed the lever, for example, the next time when he looks around and he finds a lever, the lever is a cue, is a cue that okay, yes, this is a desired result. This is something I've gained a result from like perform a particular action on before, so he tries to press it again. The craving is what he that comes to his mind after seeing the thing. The lever itself is a cue. Then the craving is what comes next. That okay, you want to press it. Then the response in this case is a positive response. By when you press it, you respond to it positively, and the thing opens, and the result is that an escape route has been opened for you, and then you pass out of the something. So this is basically the system of how habit works in 4 steps. The science of how habit works in 4 steps. And then he talked about 4 rules that guide our habit. Yeah, he talks about 4 laws of behavior change. Sorry, the first one is that you should make it obvious. The second one is make it attractive. The third one is make it easy, and the fourth one is make it satisfying. So I don't know if you guys have like more concrete examples to give on the science of forming habits according to the author.
Since I really don't understand this part of
Yeah,
the author's book, the atomic habit. I hear me.
you said you didn't understand, or
Yeah, I didn't understand well, but I can still relate it to the previous chapters. Can I go ahead?
yeah, yeah,
Okay, so I want to start from the part of the 4 laws of behavior. I understand the cue, the feedback loop of the our habits. That's the cue, the craving, the response, and the word. I understand that part. But when it comes to the 4 laws of behavior, I really can't force to not do it. Am I still with you guys?
sorry, I got cut off from the call. Can you
Hello.
just quickly recap what you said now? Hello.
Okay, I'm trying to recollect what he said
Yeah.
concerning the 4 laws of behavior.
Yes.
So I said I don't understand some concept there. Like the first law when he said make it obvious, I really don't understand what he meant.
Oh
Then
yeah.
the
So
second law he said make it attractive.
okay. Yes. Actually, I've
Hello, I hear me.
actually, yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. So
Okay, so the second one he said make it attractive. I don't
yes, yes. So he actually talked about in the third chapter. He talked about the he talked about how to build the title of the chapter is how to build habit in 4 simple steps. Then before he talked about the simple steps, he talked
yeah.
about why your brain build habits, and that's because you actually find something that makes you let's say for example you hit a stumbling block on a project at work. Let's say you're working and you hit a stumbling block. That is the key word. Then the second thing is that you crave for something. You feel stuck and you want to relieve your frustration, because when you feel when you come across the obstacle, you feel stuck and you want to relieve your frustration. Then the response is that you pull out your phone and check social media. Then the reward is you satisfy your craving to feel relief. Checking social media becomes associated with feeling stalled at work. There are 2 basic parts: the problem phase and the solution phase. The problem phase is the cue and craving phase. Why the cue and craving, why the solution phase is the response and reward. The first thing is okay, actually stumble about on a particular issue, right? So then because you know that once you do something like checking your social media, you get a particular reward that is to satisfy you and you feel relieved, then you want to crave to do that thing again.
Okay, I think I get it now. I get it now.
Yeah. So then
Yes.
it goes to the 4 laws of behavior change. The first one is make it obvious. Like let's say for example you want to read book every single day when you wake up. One of the best ways you can do it is just put, let's say, paste the title of the book on your wall. So anytime as soon as you wake up, you are seeing the title of the book. You make the habit obvious. Number two is make it attractive. Just like decorate your chair and put it somewhere beside you, like easily accessible. Decorate your chair, make it neat, make it just make it attractive. So whenever you wake up and you see the whole surrounding clean, it is attractive for you to go and sit down and feel like a responsible individual. Then the third thing is make it easy. I think I've even talked about this before now. So like you make the position of reading. Hello, please, the person just joined. Can you mute your mic? So I think there's some background noise from that place. Yeah.
Please excuse. Can you repeat that attractive part when you talk about decorating your
Okay.
chairs and stuff?
So I
The
know.
person that entered didn't let me hear. I can't hear you very well.
Okay, yeah. So I'll recap again. So the four laws of behavioral change. The first step is to make it obvious, and I think you understand that part where I said, let's say you want to read a book, like 10 pages from a book every single day you wake up. You can just paste the title of a book beside your wall where you sleep. So as soon as you wake up, you cite it, and then you've made the habit obvious. Then the second part is make it attractive. That one, in this case, you can kind of set your share where you're going to read. You can make it easily accessible to you, like close to where you sleep. And then as soon as you wake up, the book is there, everything is set. It just become attractive for you, and you feel like a responsible person when you go there and sit down. So it makes it kind of like an additional benefit for you to form that habit, because it seems interesting for you to do it. You've made the habit attractive. Whenever you sit down on that chair and you start reading, you feel like a responsible individual, and it's attractive for you because you feel like a responsible individual. So you want to keep repeating that habit. You want to keep doing something like that. So that is the making it attractive habit part. And then the third thing is making it easy. In making it easy now, for example, let's say you wake up and your book, where your library is like you have to trek, or you have to trek like half a kilometer, or you have to trek like 5 kilometers, or you have to drive a very very long place to get there. The habit is not attractive. Like you have to go through a strenuous activity before you do that habit. So instead of doing that, the habit the library can be somewhere in your house or next to your where you are sleeping. There's a particular picture in the book lovers clan in productive dude where there's about like the bed is structured. The bed is a library, like it's kind of like a library with a bed together sha. So something like this now, it makes reading attractive for you, and it makes it easy for you. Your bed is full of books, although not everything well organized because of the structure of the furniture, and then every single book is easily accessible to you. So it's the habit of reading becomes easy for you in this case. You don't need to stand up from bed before you even read. You can just take a particular good posture and start reading the book. And then the last thing, the last law of behavioral change is to make that habit satisfying. So when you finish reading now, there's a joy you get from reading that it's natural. You just you feel you've learned something, and you feel there's more things you need to learn. But basically, you get a step ahead of somebody that doesn't know that thing, because now you have an information, and it makes you feel, yes, I've learned something. So reading in and of itself, it's satisfying. But let's say there are some habits that they don't directly bring reward. Let's say you gym now, for example, you are going to feel pain when you gym. So one of the ways you can make gymming satisfying is, as soon as you finish gymming, just reward yourself with something. Let's say it's something that you eat it only once in a day, eat it immediately after gymming. So you attach that reward to doing that habit. So it makes it feel okay. Before you get something like this, you have to gym. You attach that um reward to gymming. You attach it to the habits you want to form. So that type of thing now, it it's one of the laws that makes habits stick, and something you want to keep repeating every single time, every single time, every single time. So I don't know if anybody have additional comments to make on this.
Okay, yes, I wanted to say something about the 4 steps to building before my network got cut the other time.
Oh, sorry.
Um, so the first one, I usually use this example of eating food. The 4 processes are cue, craving, response, and reward. Let's say immediately you wake up in the morning, you now feel hungry. That is the cue. That is the signal. That hunger is the signal.
Yeah,
And then the craving comes in now. The craving is maybe I want to go and eat Indomie, maybe I want to go and eat bread. That is the craving. And the
exactly.
craving is as a result of the cue. The cue is the hunger. The cue is the hunger. And then immediately the cue comes, I crave Indomie. And then now this craving now results to the next step. which is response. Response is me going now to my kitchen to cook the indomie, to eat the indomie. Lately, I cook the indomie and I eat the indomie. That is the response. That is the problem, the solution. Now we are going to the solution now. The response, cooking the indomie, going to my kitchen and then eating the indomie. That is the response. And then the reward is now I am satisfied. I've satisfied my hunger. So now I normally like this example in understanding the four steps of the science of habits rather. And then I also wanted to chip in to the points you made, like the points of making your habits look attractive. What I usually do is that I usually change the names of my habits. Maybe let's say for example now, maybe maybe you want to make it a habit for you to make 10 push-ups every day. Immediately you wake up, don't just tell yourself, let me make 10 push-ups. You can just say, okay, let me become stronger now. Let me become more fit. Or maybe you want to read 10 pages of a book. Don't tell yourself that, okay, I want to read 10 pages of this book. You can just maybe make it more active. You can tell yourself that, let me get more smarter. Let me add more knowledge. Let me become a better person. You know, or maybe you want to make it a habit of maybe taking baths maybe 2 or 3 days. You can just tell yourself, okay, let me make myself more cleaner, let me make myself more fresher. This is making it more attractive. And also the last point that you made about attaching a reward. This is nice. One of the is to say that when you are studying, you can just take phone. Already this is going to also motivate you build the habit. So this is just my chipping.
Yeah, thank you very much for that contribution. So can you talk more about, you talk about how to create good habits. There are 4 laws that guide it. And how to break bad habits. There are also 4 laws, because this is one of the important things. Habits are of 2 types: the habit that you want to form and the habit that you want to drop. So you know that, as you said, the habit that you do every single day is like a vote for the identity that, or the person you want to become, basically. So there are some things that you actually do that you vote in the right direction, and there are some things you also do because everyone has one of those things that doesn't make him 100% effective. So there are some things that you still have to drop to at least get more effective, as get effective as possibly as you can. So there's some habits you also want to drop, and there are followers you talked about. It's just basically the opposite of every single thing you should do for forming a good habit. So who can talk about that one? And likewise, in case you have a question to ask regarding building habit according to the book, if for example you don't understand a particular concept, you can just ask it and we'll talk about it in the book. So is there anyone that can talk about how to break bad habits and according to how you understand it? Yes. Okay, so I think let's just talk about it. So, as you said, there are follows to creating good habits, which is make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, make it satisfying. Then the 4 things for breaking bad habits is complete opposite of that one. The first one is make it invisible. The first one for getting good habit is make it obvious, but for breaking a bad habit is making it invisible. The second thing for creating good habits is making it attractive. Then for breaking a bad habit is making it unattractive, make it hard to achieve. Let's say for example, somebody that want to break the habit of eating chocolate immediately he wakes up every single morning. And when you wake up, chocolate is too like it's just, let's say, 50 centimeter away from your hand. So it's very easy. It's easy for you to take that chocolate and eat it again. But when you have to walk outside, let's say for example, you can just decide that, okay, I don't want to be buying chocolate in my house again. But then you know that, okay, before you get chocolate, you have to walk 5 kilometers to get chocolate. So you think twice, like you don't want to go and get it again. So you are making it unattractive. It's just hard for you. So you just feel like, no, which one should I choose in not eating chocolate this morning and trekking 3 to 5 kilometers? So you just think about it very well. And then you make it unsatisfying. You just attach something that make it seem ugly. You make it difficult. That's the third thing. and just I think I've talked about it with making it unattractive and then make it unsatisfying. So I think for this part it's important that you check the third the third um the third chapter and you read it. That is how to build better habits. I think it's a very very important chapter. If at all you've not read the book, just read that chapter and you most likely be willing to read the chapter after it. Yeah. So does anyone like have questions regarding what we've read in the book? I think maybe after that one we can round up the conversation because of getting a bit long. Hello?
My questions have been answered.
Okay. So I just advise that everyone should at least you can start with the third chapter of this book and you see how it goes. Then he starts the next chapter with the first law, which is making it obvious. Yeah. So I hope I answered your question.
No, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So I think we can actually call it a day at this point. Or does anyone have like any other comments to make or something? Yeah. Can we call it a day?
Yes, I think we can.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for joining. So I think all of us here on the Productive Tools community, all of us right now in the that are on the call right now. I think we
Yes.
all are. So I hope we achieve our aim one day because the goal of the Productive Tools community is is to um to be a supportive environment where people are passionate about doing amazing things can come together to support themselves and do those things basically. So I think for you to be in the community, it's a sign that you are in for this feature. So I hope we get our desired results one day and we make an impact in the world in general. Yeah, thank you very much for joining. Bye.
Thank you.